All right, we're back with another photo in Luminar. I've been doing a lot of stuff in Luminar lately, which is funny. I'm not in any way, shape, or form affiliated with Luminar or Skylum. As a matter of fact, if you watch one of my earlier videos, I was not a fan of Luminar prior to this 2019 release. I've been using it a lot more. Actually, I've been using it a lot more than Lightroom. I've been enjoying it a lot more than Lightroom, which is a little bit odd. But anyway, I want to do this photo here. Reset all. Just for details, one of the things I love in Luminar and that I like in my photos in general, especially ones like this. This is just a shot of an iguana on an old busted up pier. But you can see the iguana's got really cool colors. They've got really cool textures and details in it. So what I want to do is just get a picture of this iguana and really show everything that's going on in here. So the way that I'm going to do that, I'm going to do a luminosity mask to try to isolate the iguana from the background, and then I'll do details on the iguana. I'll show you, and then try to soften and kind of blow out the background. I like photos to be relatively bright and kind of pop off the whatever you're looking at it on screen in this case. So in the first one, I'm not going to do too much on this base layer in the raw adjust. I will change it to Adobe Landscape. That's just, I've been doing that with everything. And then I'll pull my highlights down a little bit. Maybe something like, nothing crazy, just a little bit, something like that. I'll probably boost my whites a little bit. I'm not going to open up the shadows because I don't, sometimes I think opening up the shadows all the way in pictures like this kind of muds them up a little bit. So, let's see, I'll do a little bit of a white point, something like this. And then just a little bit of a black point, a little contrast in there. And that's probably all I'm going to do on this layer. So let's add a new layer. And then on this layer, I'm going to do a luminosity mask. The reason I'm taking a little pause here is I just want to make sure I'm doing this the way I did it before. I've already done this photo once, and I just kind of like to see what I did before, so I'm just looking at some notes. All right, so luminosity mask. I want to see the mask, so I'll grab a brush. And basically, I want the iguana to be the, what's masked here. So I'm going to go to invert, and it does a really good job. And then in this one, I'm just going to erase out most of the background because I don't need it in there and I don't really need it to apply. I don't really need to add detail back there, especially here in the foreground. But I will leave it a little bit. You can see it's like barely on the rocks here. I'll leave a little bit there. I think that looks okay. All right, perfect, done. And then I'm going to grab my detail. Whoops, that's the wrong one. My details little workspace here. This is pretty simple. All I'm going to do is come through here, add some structure. I love structure. I think it's a nice little slider. And then I'll come down, I'll add a little bit of clarity, not too much. I think it's easy to kind of over crank some of these. I try to be more subtle. You might see this and think it's not subtle at all. And then details, I like small details is really my favorite one to work with. And I'll pump this up quite a bit and just kind of keep an eye. I'll zoom in here and just watch. You can see if we reset it and then add, you can really see those details coming through on this skin. It's really cool looking. All right. And then do I want to do any microstructure? Maybe a little bit of microstructure. I think that looks pretty cool. Now it's actually, the focus isn't really great. I don't feel like the focus is here where it should be. It feels like it's more back here, but whatever, it works. Not going to be doing anything too fancy with this picture. So if we look at this whole layer before and after, before and after. And then I'm wondering if I want to do, let me just try something here. No, I'm just trying to see if I added anything else. All right, next layer. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this, add new adjustment layer, mask, paste, and then I'm going to invert it. So now if we want to see this mask, all we do is we grab the brush, and then you can see that the mask is inverted. So the iguana's mostly masked out. Now I could maybe grab maybe like a 50% opacity brush. Come on. And maybe just to not take too much away from the iguana, because we are still, you can see that red is still on there, which is showing that everything that we do on this layer is going to be applying. I don't want it to be too harsh of a transition, so I don't know, maybe that works, we'll see. Okay, so with me, in the way that I do a lot of my photos, it's kind of like I just go for it and I try to figure out what I want to do. So I'm going to go with my LM soften layer, and I'm going to add a little bit of image radiance. And what I want to do here is make the background really bright and kind of, soft, so it contrasts against this super detailed lizard. So a little bit of image radiance, maybe not quite that much, something like that. And then we'll come down here, and I like this matte look, especially because it's not on, see how bright that makes it? It's not on the iguana. So we'll add a little bit of matte, and we'll do a little bit of fade. And we're still keeping the detail on the iguana. And that's probably all I really need to do. I mean, soft focus obviously takes everything out of focus. Maybe a little bit of that works. Just a little bit, something like that. All right, now we're going to add another layer that's just going to be a regular layer. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab my professional workspace. I feel like I forgot something here. I'm going to go to highlights. Maybe not quite that much. Maybe something like that. Move it this way. A little bit of mid-tone contrast. There we go. See, when you do the mid-tones, look at the color on this guy. Ready? His oranges. It helps the color kind of pop, which I like. I think that's a slick look. And I could probably benefit from some post-crop vignette. This picture is cropped. I cropped it before I started the video. All I did, I mean, not too much. So maybe a post-crop like that. Or do we feel like maybe this guy needs a little bit more, like a little bit more punch? Let's go back to his layer, and I just want to try something. Maybe, just maybe, try this globally first. Let's saturate, because he's got such cool colors, that green and that orange. Now normally I don't like this saturation vibrance panel to sort of do the whole image, but since I'm masked really only on this guy, it works. I think that looks a little bit better. And then come back up here. Maybe I want to do a little bit more of a vignette. This is pretty intense, this vignette. Or square. Place center, like right. Maybe like that. I don't know. Something like that. I don't know. What do we think here? Not anything too crazy, but I think that looks kind of cool. Maybe a little bit too much saturation there and a little too much vignette now that I look at it. I do think the orange looks good, but lots of detail. Look at the detail. I think that's so cool. All right, let's just back off this vignette. It's a little bit out of control. And we're going to back off this saturation. Maybe like that. But look at the difference in the detail. And then when you come through to the whole image, Got that soft background with that real sharp iguana. I think that looks pretty cool. I dig it. Don't know what I would do with a photo like this. I'll probably throw it up on Instagram or something. Just say, hey, here's a picture of a gecko. Or not a gecko, this is an iguana. And that's it. Thanks for watching.